Let's get that on. Hopefully the testing's going all right. We're going to pull up that and bam. Hopefully it's working. Let's share its screen. Okay, that looks good. A few technical difficulties. We've got video. We got video. Yay! The video's there. Have we got sound though? Have we got sound? Come on, sound, man. Seriously, I cannot still not hear the sound on there, but I'm pretty sure we got sound. Have we got sound? Testing 1, 2. We got sound. Everyone's saying we got sound. Woo! See, this is what happens. New format. Something with the connectivity issues there. But apparently everyone says that you can hear me. I just can't hear myself. let me turn it on so I can see if I can hear myself. Yeah, I can hear myself. Oh my gosh. Anyway, it's a beautiful new format. Hey, you're likely to have some technical issues there. It should have run smoothly, but just some sort of technical thing going on there. Very, very cool. Now adjust your accent, says PSI. Now adjust your accent. Yeah, indeed. So welcome everybody. Hope you like the new format. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's go to the comments section, and it's got a little bit of a transition, so I'm going to have to get used to that. But let's see how we get on it. What else? We've got a few people in the house. Let's jump all the way down to the bottom of the scrolls here. Katie's in the house here. Woohoo! Hey, look at that. I like that. That's pretty neat. So I think it's looking pretty good. I like this setup. Obviously, that sound was an issue in the video, but maybe because I turned it off earlier. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. What else is in there? Let me know in the chat. Much love from PSI, he says. Much love. Much love there. Nice. All right, so we've got some other stuff too. Let's have a look here. So if you are really liking the new layout format, give a clap. Everybody clap. We're gonna hear a clap. Gonna get. Yeah, everyone loves it. Awesome. That's very, very cool. But someone's at the door. Someone's at the door. And guess what they're holding? They're at the door and they're holding something. What are they holding? They're holding a horn. They're holding a horn. All right. So anyway, enough. That's some of the features that we've got on the on the video. That's pretty cool. Let's get into it, folks. Big welcome to everybody. If you haven't subscribed, smash the like button, hit the bell, all that good stuff. Welcome to the new format. And hopefully we don't have any more technical issues. That'd be very, very cool. All right, let's get into it. We've got the stock market at the moment. And, of course, the stock market, Dow and NASDAQ, notched up gains on tech-led rally. So tech stocks really moving things along. Despite the economic GDP falling a little bit there. So we're going to talk about that. We've got the Dow Jones Industrials up 205 points, up 0.6% to 33,949. The S&P 500 up 1.1%, 44 points to 4,060. And finally, the NASDAQ with all the tech companies in it, 1.76%. So a good day in the office for the techs there, up 200 points to 11,500. So very, very nice there. Dollar is up slightly too against its trading partners at 101.59. And let's jump into the commodities. We got the oil prices in at the moment. We got the oil prices is we got Brent oil there is up 1.7%, $1.44 to $87.56, and West Texas is pretty flat there at $81.17. The gold prices, gold's up 90 cents just slightly to $1,930, and silver is pretty much flat there at $24. So that's pretty much the commodities. Let's get into the commentary. Stocks got a jolt from tech stocks after Tesla beat expectations, and investors got a better than expected reading for fourth quarter economic output. So that's pretty much the sum up there. Remember, Tesla was getting beaten up a little bit a few weeks back. The indexes are rallying to start the year. The NASDAQ is up 2.7% so far this week, and on pace for its best month since summer. This is despite negative news from some of the biggest tech companies. Intel Corporation's shares were falling 7% in after-hours trading after missing expectations for earnings. And, of course, you can see economic growth there is in purple, so it's a bit of a mixed bag. Economic growth slowed in the fourth quarter compared with the third quarter, a sign that the Federal Reserve's aggressive interest rate increases last year are kicking in. Gross domestic product rose 2.9%, so 2.9% in the last 3 months of the year, beating expectations but slower than the 3.2% reported for the third quarter. So it'd slow down economic growth but better than expectations. However, the labour market still remains robust, and of course the Fed has been watching the labour market. That's been one of their thorns in their side, as it were. Despite several large technology giants cutting jobs in recent days, initial jobless claims of 186,000 came in lower than the 205,000 expected for the last week, and also below the week before that, so less than what they thought. And of course, getting into the Fed meeting coming up on the 1st, that's next Wednesday. The Fed will meet next week to decide on the next steps for the interest rates, and most expect it will raise by another quarter of a percentage point. So we're expecting that too, so 25 basis points. which is a small increment than in its previous meetings, which was 50 basis points. Remember, the 450 basis points rises. So definitely looking for that to cool. Investors have been awaiting the time when the Fed's interest rate moves will pause or pivot. And of course, though Fed officials have emphasized that they want to see the terminal rate above 5%. Remember in the SEP, that forecast that they had 5.1%, but we're hoping that it only gets to 5%. And that would mean maybe the last increase in March. So let's see what the CPI number comes in at tomorrow. That's coming in, so it's pretty important too. That implies another rate hike or two after next week's meeting if the Fed meets expectations. And then finally, stocks were getting a lift from Tesla, better than expected results. The electric car maker said recent price cuts have fueled demand for the product, though it also acknowledged challenging economic conditions ahead. Shares of Tesla were up 11% at the time of writing, and that is pretty much the wrap up there. So let's get into the crypto market. How's that doing? Crypto market is holding, I would say. It's kind of holding after having nice little pushes higher. BTC at 23,000. Remember, it did get up to about 23,850. That's pretty much where that got to. We got a little comment in the chat there. Let's go to the comments. We're going to use some of the features there. A little comment in the chat there. Wookie says, Man of Steel. I like that, Man of Steel. That's pretty cool. All right, so that is coming up there. We got BTC at 23,000, just down 0.6% there. Ethereum at 1,600, up 0.5%, which is nice. The standout here you can see is Matic. Matic is up 11% to $1.10. So there we are. Polygon Matic doing pretty well. And what else? The stable coin's looking pretty stable around dollar peg. FTM is standing out there as well. Up 19.55% is FTM. 48.8 cents. So let me know in the chat there if you hold some of those FTM bags because they're getting pumped at the moment. So there we are. And maybe if there's a reason for the pump there, you can let us know in the chat there. Everything else looking pretty even there. There's XEC's looking pretty good too down here. That is up to 19% as well. And Lido there down 8%, looking a bit red, down at $2.30 there. So if you've got any of those, let us know as well. Christian's in house there. Christian says, hello, my ninjas. Good to see you there, Christian. Nice. And cool. I really like these comments. They look pretty cool, don't they? Pretty cool comments there. We got Simply in the house as well. I think Simply was saying something, Simply Thinking Dreams. I'm not sure whether your comments come up here actually. I can't actually see it, which is kind of weird. Not coming up here on my studio view. Just the way it goes sometimes, I guess. Let us jump over to Hex.com. So if you haven't checked out Hex.com, the link is in the video description. Of course, we're a Pulsechain and Hex community channel here. And of course, you can check it out. So if you want to pick, basically people buy Hex. A lot of people choose to then stake their Hex as an investment. Obviously, there's two effective bonuses in Hex. There's longer pays better. Basically, you get 20% more shares. So when you stake your Hex, you get shares in the ownership pool. And you get to share the rewards every day, pretty much. We call that Hex per T-share is what your reward payment is. And so the more Hex that you stake, the bigger pays better as well. So the more Hex you stake, and for the longer that you stake, you get two big boost bonuses, as it were. And you get a lot more Hex per day. So that's pretty much it. It rewards those people that lock their Hex away for longer. It's pretty neat. So check out Hex.com, a video in the video description. Remember, do your own investment due diligence, of course. Nothing on this channel is investment advice. And that's true for all YouTuber channels out there. Remember that. So it's kind of cool. Hey, hello. We've got to jump into the chat there. We've got Yo. We've got JC Asylum in the house. Yo from Mexico. Good to see you, JC. Big shout out to you in Mexico. And Archipelago. Woohoo! Let's go Archipelago there. Bam. Was that coming up? I think that is. There it goes. Boom. And $20 super chat there from Archipelago. New platform super chat. Like that. Appreciate that. New platform super chat. Nice one, the Archipelago. Appreciate that. Big shout out to you for the support. And yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. The old new format here. Looking very nice indeed. So very cool. All right, let's get into Hex. The price of Hex, of course. And we can see we've got looking pretty bullish on the chart. We're up at 2.64 cents here. Obviously with the teaser of Pulsechain coming. The testnet V3, and of course we've got the Aragon. Probably stage 7 is probably finished now. The syncing, I think they had like 16 hours to go. It may be finished or pretty close anyway. So that's kind of cool. We're going to talk more about that a bit later, about Pulsechain and Pulsex. We've got a few little things on that, so look forward to that one. And yeah, we've got the RSI here moving up on the uptrend. It's kind of nice. And we've got a bit of a divergent, bullish divergence. And of course, we got the price here at 2.641 cents on Hex. So let's have a look at the last 24 hours. We've got 212 buys on Hex, 142 sells, with the buy volume at 994. We've got some gifts going out there. Wookie has gifted memberships. So cool. Oh, Brian has actually. Brian's gifted out 5 memberships there. So definitely grab those. There it is from Brian. He's gifted out 5 Hex memberships. Who's picked them up? We've got Wookie's picked them up. Well done, Wookie. We've got GoPulse Hex has picked them up as well. Mikey has picked it up. Nice one there, Mikey. We've got Andrew Reynolds has also got one as well. Finally, Donatello. So well done to all of you. And a big shout out to Brian. Appreciate that support on the channel. Brian is one of the 2 community leaders in our community. Big shout out to him. And if you need any help actually onboarding into hex.com or want to find out more about the ecosystem, then definitely hit up Brian in our Discord. The link's in the video description and in the chat. Definitely check that out. So nice one there from Brian. We've got a really active chat there. Really, really great community. All right, let's get into it. So here we've got, yeah, basically 50% buy volume versus 50% sell volume today, which is pretty funny. But the buy volume is still slightly higher. There at 994,000. So not quite a million, but almost on the top pair. Now there's 4 pairs, main pairs. This is the top one, 6.6 million liquidity. We're getting up there, The last 6 hours, we've got 44 buys versus 24 sells, sorry. And so we've got 64% buy volume versus the sell. Buy volume is actually 52%. So 127,000 now in the last 6 hours. And the last hour, we've had a little bit of net selling here in the last hour. You can see that in the chart there. And that is pretty much it with 19,000 versus 3,200. So someone taking some profit there. So otherwise, looking pretty good. We've got higher lows here. Nice little uptrend at the moment. And we've still got our bullish short-term EMA crossing the 21-day EMA. So 9-day versus 21. Looking still bullish here. Looking very good on the chart. Obviously, to break out of this resistance, let's move away from a lot of these RSIs and have a quick look at that. So obviously this is our, if we go back here, this is our short-term resistance here. And of course, to get out of here, we want to break out over 3.1 cents. So we've got this sort of next resistance zone is at 2.8 at the bottom. And then of course, using our angular resistance here, we're looking at about 3.1 cents. So to bust through that. So we want to bust through about 3.1. It's going to take a bit of capital, right? Bit of capital, bit of buying. We've definitely got a nice little uptrend here. Is it going to peter out or is it going to keep going? It still looks pretty good to me. So still on the upside, more likely upside than the downside at the moment. Hey, we've got Christian Cullen in-house for 1 month membership as a Pulsechain. So big shout out to Christian. Bam, let's post that. We're get the, there we are. So celebrate 1 month of membership. Let's get it. Nice one, Christian. Appreciate the support as always. Very, very nice on that one. I really do like these comments. It really is. So this is EV Mukes Studio. Compared to StreamYard, which we've been using. StreamYard's somewhat basic compared, like they've got similar features, and this is just the testing environment. So I haven't, it's not a paid service yet. You get more stuff, but it's pretty amazing, really. I think, and it looks a lot better. So liking it a lot. All right, let's get into some of this. We're going to go. That's pretty much Hex looking pretty good on the old Hex chart. There, so we've got the tech stocks were rising. Hex is looking like it's rising too, looking pretty good. Let's go to the Hex whale bot. We've got a couple of things. We had a couple of big buys here. 8.4 million buy 24 hours ago. 12.6 million buy. So that was a big mover there. Over 20 million was bought in like 24 hours ago. We had 7.5 million sold 21 hours ago. So someone selling into that move. A few hours later, and then we've had 4.7 million Hex in staked, and of course we've got some penalties in there. Look, served 2 days out of 700. What the heck is going on there? You say only served 2 days out of the 700 stake there. 254 T-shares. That's a little bit insanity there. Anyway, they got penalty 572,000 there. So that's what they got. A negative ROI of 12.1%. So I'm not sure what happening there. It was 5 hours ago. This guy, after 2 days, he's a hexologist. Even got the attention of hexologists there, so just the way it goes, isn't it? Exodus, some crazy stuff there. I'm surprised the penalty isn't bigger. Me too. I was surprised too. I'm not quite sure what's happening here. It's less than 6 months, so have to look at the formula again. Different formula for 6 months, over 6 months, right? Yeah, have to look at that. That seemed on the low side. All right, so that is pretty much the Hex Whale bot there. Let's get into Maximus. We're going to talk about Maximus today. Now, Hex is the base contract, but on top of that, these two project teams are built on top of the Hex contract. One of those is the Maximus team, and they've done a lot of great stuff. So very, very cool. We've got a comment there from Brian. Brian says, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service there, Brian. I'm not sure who that's to. Is that to Hex Token? I'm not sure. We've got Andrew in house as well. Andrew says, happy Friday, everybody. And the Hex Token there from Andrew. Nice one there, Andrew. Appreciate the sentiments. And I'm sure everyone's having a good time. Having a good time. So welcome, Andrew. What else there? So let's get into the Maximus. So a lot of you have Maximus products. And of course, it is a pretty incredible ecosystem. Let's get into Maxi, the 15-year perpetual, and of course, this is the 30th biggest staking account in Hex. So it's a pretty behemoth there, 15th biggest shark. So it's pretty massive there. Up a nice little increase here today, 3.485 cents. Let's have a look at the premium over Hex itself. And let's see what that is. So at 133. Wow, did you see yesterday? I didn't even catch this because I didn't cover it yesterday. But the premium got down to 14.6%. Can you believe it? Unbelievable. That's crazy. And then, of course, now it's bounced back up to 33%. So nice mad gains in there for whoever picked up that bottom yesterday. Wow, that's pretty cool on that one. Let's go into Decimus. So Decimus is the 10-year staking pool, which is a perpetual. In other words, it gets reset every 10 years. And let's have a look here, 2.381 cents. Let's have a look at the premium or discount. It's been a discount. The longer perpetuals have been discounted by the market at 89 there, so about a 10% discount to Hex. And this may disappear in the future. We'll see what the market decides, but that's what it is at the moment. Let's have a look at Lucky. Lucky is a 7-year, 2.519 cents. Let's have a look at the premium. And let's see what it is, or discount. It's that discount, this one. 93.4, so discount of about 6.5% over compared to Hex. So there we are. And let's get into the trio. The trio is currently at 2.514 cents too, so similar price. The trio is the 3-year perpetual staking pool, and of course it is premium so it's a discount 97.6, so it's about a 2.4% discount over compared to Hex. So that's pretty much that. Now getting to the base should be pretty much 1-to-1 or a slight premium. I would expect to be a slight premium, but we'll see. Let's see how it goes here. It's lost its peg. It's lost its peg. It's down at 98%. So that's crazy. That's loco. That's loco. That makes no sense. That's a loco. Why would it should be at a discount? It should be at a slight premium if you ask me. Maybe a tad. Maybe, I don't know. You can decide 1.002, 1.05, something like that. Sitting at 98. So a bit of a discount here. Sell out there. So who knows why that is? Let us know. Anyway, so remember all these tokens, these perpetuals can be staked, and of course that is kind of cool too. We're not talking about the team token, the water token, or the poly token today, but I need to add those in. I tend to find that when I add them all in, the charts seem to fall over. Let's get into Hedron. Hedron is obviously the other project. So Hedron Akosa. We've just talked about Maximus built on top of Hex. Now we've got Hedron Akosa built on top of Hex, and currently we've got Hedron is at 1520. So it's got 5 zeros in front of it, 1520, and we've got a nice little decent chart in here too. I think quite a few people would be liking it to see, challenging the 1800 mark, and then onwards to 2000. That's kind of the next targets there. So yeah, that's where we're looking there. We have got buyers looking stronger than sellers on the DMI, and the trend for buyers is increasing. So that's kind of cool. The RSI there is sitting in the middle at 55. That's pretty much there where that is. We've had 21 buys over the last 24 hours, 15 sells, and with the sell volume being just slightly higher, 51%. So that's why we've got this little red candle here, pretty much. So just have a look at the last 6 hours. Last hour, yeah. So last 6 hours, slightly more buying than selling there in the last 6 hours. So that's pretty much it. But still looking reasonable, the chart, and pretty much tied to Hex in many ways. So this is the way it goes with the share rate and things like that. And the liquidity pools. So we've got 4,258 Hex HSIs in the liquidation queue that have not yet been pulled into the auction. You can pull those in to start the auction on those, so heaps of them are sitting there. Let's get into the auction itself. Yesterday we had over 50, and today we have 33. So I think we had about 55 yesterday, we've got 33 today. We've got lots of ones that have closed. All these ones have closed, there have been one. But we've got lots that are coming up. Oh, 1 million. We've got a big one here, folks. 1 million Hex, 120 T-shares up for grabs. 2 hours and 24 minutes till it closes. Currently only 669 million bid on that. So that's definitely something, if what some of you are looking out for something like that, that's pretty nice. We've got another one there, 41 T-shares, 20 T-shares. We've got another 41 T-shares. Oh, well, it's a B share, sorry. Let's jump through here. We've got lots of smaller ones here. So something for everybody, but there are a couple of particular large ones. Remember, there were about 90 or so big Hex HSIs that were over 1 million. This looks like one of those, so that's pretty cool. Let's go back into some of the comments as well. Let's see what the comments got here. Let's have a look here. What is the Maximus best value in your opinion? Well, I depends on your time frame, right? In terms of time frame, you had, if you're looking at a long time frame, then that Decimus, that Deci discount of 10%, that looked pretty good. If you're looking to hold long, you're getting a discount, because it may not be that way in the future as it gets over time. You know, I mean, many years out from here, of course, 10 years. But if you're looking at a long-term time frame, that's pretty cool. If you want that part of your staking ladder, and then getting a discount on the Deci is pretty good. In terms, because you got to remember, it's accumulating Hex at a very large rate. Obviously, Maximus is another alternative that you have if you're looking even longer. Now it has even a better rate, right? So it has even better, and it's got the Hedron bonus, 4x Hedron bonus as well. So there we are. If you're looking short-term, of course, then surely the base has got to be your if it's a 2% discount to Hex, it's surely got to be a good value. So that's probably how I'd look at that one there. Let's have a look here. I've got I've got top chat on here. Let me change that to live chat on my view. That might I'm not sure if that affects my my studio views. So this is my first day using the studio, so you got to bear with me just as I'm working through it. But that's kind of where it is. We've got Kristen in the house. Says Zen coming with the X1. Yeah, we're going to talk about that briefly later, so stay tuned for that. We'll be covering that topic today. So that is pretty much that. Let's jump over to I've missed it actually. There's no WhatsApp updates today from Dev Huey, so we're going to jump straight to Pulsechain updates. So get on to that. Sandy Beach has got the Sandy Beaches there. Let's put that up. See all your beaches there, Sandy? Sandy owns 4 beaches. That's pretty nice. I like it. Brennan says low liquidity for perpetuals, easy to move the premium around. That is true. So that's a very good observation with those perpetual charts. They do have low liquidity, and the premiums do move around a lot there. So that is absolutely correct there. Well done. Nice one there, Brennan. All right, so Pulsechain, we've obviously Richard Hart's given us a few updates. We've had the validated interface there. We've also had the block explorer, and of course now we've seen the Aragon system state and getting loaded up. So that's kind of cool. Presumably once this is done, they're on stage 7. They end up moving to selecting the system state block, and then targeting nodes to that and all that sort of stuff. So they've still got to run through the rest of the stages, but that's looking pretty good. And that was the update that we had. And so far that third update got 187,000 views. So that's pretty cool for the most technical aspect side of that. So it's kind of cool. After the snapshot of volume, when it's after it's done, will allow spinning up of Aragon nodes quickly. And so that's going to be neat. And of course the state block that they want, just like we have for Geth. So remember, Aragon and Geth are the execution layer clients. And then of course we've got a Lighthouse and Prism so far, which are the consensus layer, and those two go together. And so that's kind of cool. I think that was probably it from Richard there. Yeah, this was the block explorer. So it was pretty bullish with 10-second block time. So we really enjoyed that. And yeah, he's provided us the other staking validator front end so far. So we've seen that, which I think is down a bit further here. Let's go down here. There it is there. So that is the validator front end there. Pulsechain testnet v3. Kind of cool. So it's all coming together. and maybe February is looking very good. Maybe it depends on how much other development stuff they have for any issues that they come across. But other than that, looks like the Aragon is moving along there with Geth. That's very cool. Those are the two that we're going to have for the engine base there. I'm not sure if they're going to have as many. I don't know sure if they're going to have as much diversity as the Ethereum, at least to start off with there. So that may end up being the case. They may just have those four. Two execution, but we can see even on Ethereum that particularly on the consensus that those two, Prism and Lighthouse, were dominating like 86% of the software for those clients. So I don't know if that's going to be an issue or not. It doesn't seem like it to me. So that is pretty much that for that. Now Golkey put out something about Pulsechain, so I thought I was going to read through this around the Pulsechain there. And what's that? Everyone's what is that? Everyone, what's that? We want to hear. Do we want Pulsechain? Yeah, everyone wants some Pulsechain. So I'm gonna play that. That's pretty hilarious there. Archipelago says when Pulsechain launches and we've got the current tokens on both chains and we've got all the new projects coming out, my head might explode. I think so. This is going to be a pretty crazy time for everybody. I think a pretty crazy time for everybody. Sandy Beach says, hello, Hex Token and everyone. Good to see you, Sandy Beach. Was it TYVM for membership? I never know what these short phrase terms are. TYVM, sorry, I always miss those because I don't really follow those shorthands. A property review in the house. Property review says, another great show today. Thanks, Superman and Hex Token channel. You're welcome, property review. Big shout out to you. Thank you very much. And Brian says thank you very much as well. So I'm not sure whether I'm in a private conversation there, but great to see Brian in the house there as always. I think that's it on there. Nice. All right, so let's get into it. Let's get into it on the PulseX. Well, let's do it. And of course, Pulsechain is from Golkey. He's one of the co-founders of Maximus. We just talked about their products earlier. And of course, Pulsechain is a groundbreaking DEX. So let's see what his opinions are around Pulsechain. Pulsechain is a groundbreaking DEX with truly innovative features that will be launching with Pulsechain. One of those features that many are excited for is the buy and burn. Yes, we are indeed excited for that. So what is the Pulsechain buy and burn, and why should you be excited? He's got a thread here, buy and burn with Pulsechain. Like all DEXs, Pulsechain will have trading fees, but what makes Pulsechain unique is what happens with the fees. Pulsechain will have a trading fee of 0.29%, which is less than all other leading DEXs, and typically they might be about 0.3 or so, sometimes slightly higher, sometimes slightly lower. 76% of all trading fees will be distributed to liquidity providers. So if you can provide liquidity in the trading pools for Pulsechain, you will be getting 76% of the fees for doing that. And of course, in addition to that, you can take your LP tokens over to the farming and farm them for the incentive token, which is going to be a deflationary token. It is part of Richard Hart's ecosystem, so that's going to be pretty bullish. We expect lots of liquidity providers, including mercenary liquidity providers, to come over. Should be pretty fun. 3% of all fees go to an address you must have no expectations on. I think they have changed that back, actually. But remember, they deleted that out there, and so that seems to be back. 21% of all the fees will be used to buy Pulsechain. That will then be burned, hence the same buy and burn. So that's back there as well. So let's pull up Pulsechain actually while we're here and have a quick look at that. Because I think they have added that back in. Let's jump through the bottom here. And yeah, so Pulsechain will have 0.29% fee. 76% of trading fees go to the liquidity provider. 21% could be used for buy and burn. I think that's what he's got here. 21% fees used to be buying Pulsechain, that will be burned. So it's not buying and burning, two functions. So very bullish there for Pulsechain. And reduced oversupply, 0.01% of all the trade value goes to an address you must have no expectation of. So that's actually fractionalized now. So that's pretty interesting. That's some there. So we've got 97% there. So I'm not sure what happened with the 3% there. It seems like this doesn't make sense. So I don't know if that's an issue there. Doesn't add up to 100%. So anyway, we'll move on. Hopefully they fix that up. Let us get back to Golkey. And so let's get on. The buy and burn is a massive fundamental for Pulsechain. Not only is this price positive for Pulsechain by making the supply deflationary, it will also be constantly market buying the price up. Next on, let's use Uniswap's fees earning as an example. Right now, Uniswap earns $2 million in fees every day. Yes, that's right, folks. You heard it. When PulseX gets to that level, the fee distribution will be as follows: 20,000 to no expectations address, 440,000 to liquidity providers, and 120,000 to PulseX buy and burn every single day. So wouldn't that be cool? So very nice. As PulseX grows and the PulseX supply goes down over time, the significance of the buy and burn grows with it. And of course, this is just one of the major features of PulseX. So that's pretty cool, right? That's pretty cool. So that is from Golki. Let's see if anyone thought of anything like that. Let's go to the comments. StakeX says, congrats on the big news, man. 6,500 Hex Maniacs following the Hex Token Show. Yeah, actually I forgot to mention that. Yeah, so yesterday the channel hit 6,500 subscribers. So big thank you to everybody that's subscribing. And yeah, it's been a fun time. And onwards and upwards, I guess. Right, onwards and upwards. And Pulsechain's not even around here yet very much there. Brian goes, TYVM means thank you very much. I appreciate the explanation there, Brian. What else there? We got some other comments here. Let's jump over to that. Yeah, I think that's it. Congrats, says Sandy Beach. I appreciate that. Brennan says, Superman, do you have the Bing and Boom sound clip? Not sure if we've got the Bing and Boom sound clip there. I got a couple other ones here. I got the drum snare roll. That's pretty cool. I got the magic twinkle. So there are a few other features here, but we won't get too carried away today because even though it's a new format, hope you're not retiring soon, says Archipelago. No, not anticipating retiring soon. Big welcome to everybody though. All right, so cool. That is that was nice there from Golki. I thought it was kind of a nice little PulseX summary there. And now Pulsechain, of course, a lot of people getting excited with the talk of Pulsechain testnet, as we just talked about with Richard's updates. As you can see, Richard's updates, over 500,000 people, so 520,000 people so far like the validator one. Imagine when it goes live, it's going to be pretty crazy. Well, obviously, we've got this old chart that's been floating around for some time here. How high can Pulsechain go? We've got some people saying that we can do 20x or 30x. Some people we can say we can do 14,000x. Some people we can do 10,000x. So all sorts of things like that. Now, obviously, it depends on the base that you're going from. Are you going from the sacrifice price, hashtag ICO price? Are you going from the all-time low, which is typically what a lot of people use, and Richards and Rack Michelle's 10,000, 14,000x inverted commas, would have to be from that base. But yeah, we could see some pretty bullish numbers from the sacrifice prices under the right circumstances over time. And of course, we are expecting volatility. There are always big sellers in there, right? When you're playing at volume, you can sell out for lower X's generally. That's what people look at. So that's just the way it goes. We know that Wallet TO1 is a big Hex and Pulsechain sacrifice. We know that he's going to sell out at different times. So you can expect if you're after the volume, you can expect to get some there. Now, not many people have Pulse, but some of the larger holders have a lot of it, right? So we are expecting that to be played out. So maybe 12.5, 13 trillion Pulse. They're in the public hands, so we're excluding the sacrifice account, origin accounts. And then, of course, maybe for PulseX, it's around about 16 trillion. Now, obviously, there's going to be, 1 to 3 trillion also from the AMM bot for the Pulse. So there are similar numbers for Pulse and PulseX out there that are going to be in the public hands, as we call it. And, of course, that's the stuff that's going to get redistributed, particularly some of the sharks and stuff like that. There's going to be opportunities there to pick up volume. But, of course, the game is to accumulate and hold, particularly in the first 3 to 6 months. Typically, we see that for chains. And that's normally just sit tight and ride through. Now, you can obviously try and trade certain pumps and dumps, and there's always parabolics in the chart. But accumulating over time in the early phase is typically the best play for the bigger X's longer term. Particularly for PulseX, that is particularly the case. Now, obviously, as congestion grows in Pulsechain, then higher GUI and higher prices means that we probably get more burning going on in the chain. We've already got 10-second chain of Pulsechain, so it's already going to impact the APY for validating, and of course the deflation and inflation as well. So we've got lots of little fundamentals around that. But in any case, looking at these here, ETH, Solana, ADA, AVAX, DOT, and BNB. We've got pretty big X returns here based on this chart. Over 3.8 years, so that's a bit longer time frame. I think we're going to have a shorter time frame than that on Pulsechain, and of course maybe half the time. And we've got 3,954x is there on the average, so it's pretty crazy from ICO to all-time high. So it's pretty neat. So I'm pretty positive about that. I think that's kind of a cool thing. Now, obviously, have reasonable expectations is a good play as well. More modest expectations, and I'd be pretty happy to see 100x player on this. So that's kind of nice to have those conservative things. But accumulating volume is something that I'm keen to do. We'll see what others do as well. Now, a lot of people have missed out on Pulsechain Sacrifice early. Like I said, there's about 41,000 so plus wallets. So some of the larger holders that do end up selling for small X's that we redistributed to all the new people that are coming. And it's not just a retail book. There's going to be a lot of large players that want to pick up positions. They couldn't go through the Sacrifice project, or they've just found out about it, and they consider this to be one of the top chains. Obviously, I think it's going to be the biggest thing in the next bull market. Then they're going to want to accumulate positions, and we know a lot of people are talking about lots of demand coming in there. So that's pretty exciting. We're going to see how that plays out. It's going to be opportunities for everybody. As I say, people might get tricked out by the first four weeks because after the excitement of the launch and all the things that happen in the AMM bot, the bridge opening up, all the trading pairs getting set up, communities coming in, airdrops playing, liquidity providers, all that sort of stuff's going to play out. It's going to be crazy, I tell you. It's going to be insane. The YouTubers are going to be out there going mental. We might see some of those big YouTubers that are sacrificed also start to promote Pulsechain, because Pulse gains, right? Pulsechain and Pulse gains. But then it's going to be insane. But of course, the trick is that 4 to 6 weeks later, maybe 8 weeks later at max, we're going to have all the DeFi projects launch. And of course, then we're going to have leverage coming into the system. That's going to catch a lot of people out because a lot of people are not aware of what's going on. And they will say, what the heck? I thought the excitement was done. I thought it was buy the rumor, sell the news. And it's like, no. That's not what's happening with the main chain, with Pulsechain and with Pulsex, with the big buy and burn. So wake up and smell the roses, because it's going to be waves of goodness coming out of Pulsechain there. And when that leverage starts coming on with fiat, liquid loans, famous, and all the rest of it, it's going to be fun times. So that's pretty some exciting stuff there. Let's get on to, we're going to start to talk about some of the project teams. And of course, the one that's been of interesting here, we're going to be looking, I like to pick up, I've sort of changed my format, instead of covering all these Pulsechain projects, is to pick out ones that are not performing too well and ones that are performing very well. At the moment, Pulse Bitcoin under massive pressure. And of course, this was a Pulse Dogecoin, the meme coin, was a big airdrop to Hex stakers. So Hex, not only do you get the yield in Hex, you're going to get a copy on Pulsechain, but typically Hex stakers have enjoyed a lot of airdrops and free claims. I don't know, is it about 10 or something at least on the old Hex stakers, all the way from Uniswap to 1inch through to Pulse Dogecoin. I mean, there's been so many of them, and of course it's just all added bonus, right? All added bonus. But Pulse Dogecoin here down at $3.57 after having 60% burn there. And yeah, chart not looking very, very good at the moment with the meme coin there, $3.57. Has spiked down a couple of days ago to $3.07. Today it spiked down to $3.21, currently at $3.57 there. And this is after the transform phase. There's only about 2.6 million of these left. So scarcity has not played out, as one would think. So it's a lesson learned there. But more important, we're going to jump over to the ASIC token. This is the mining token. And this has basically capitulated here and all the way gone down here to $1.02. Can you believe it? $1.02. Yesterday, this was at 91 cents. Can you believe it? And a couple of days ago, it was at 91 cents as well. So really under pressure here. It has kind of, this is the last level of support here. Man, if it breaks this level, if it break like 80 cents, man, that's pretty sad. But once again, there's no real new supply. Most people are still mining, still about 19 million ASICs are mining. But I think that equates to about 1.5 million ASICs that are in the circulating supply. And that doubling has been very important. That going from about 700,000 to 1.5 million has impacted the chart. And maybe it's around Pulsechain, that relativity play, or just some large holders dumping down. The other thing is that liquidity seems to have been pulled down as well, in addition to the price going down. So LP providers there seems to be a factor as well. So it's down, it's gone at the moment. And of course, down it has gone $1 too. Community's been fracturing a little bit there as well under pressure. Not surprising, right? Any community is going to do that, right? But this is the way it seems. Let me know in the chat there if you've got any insights into that. Pulse Bitcoin as well. Pulse Bitcoin here capitulated as well, down to 81 cents here, and of course at 90 cents there at the moment. So 80 cents there, and of course this is the output token, but this is supposed to be the appreciating store of value play. And of course, this is under pressure at the moment. Now, obviously, it may very well find some bottom at some stage, but then, of course, it does. Some people are talking about cascade failure. We'll see, though. I'm a bit more optimistic that instead of cascade failure, that there will be a bottom at some stage. So there's still some big whales in there. If they've got plenty of dry powder, they'll be happy to let it go down really low, because when they go buy up the volume, it'll be relatively scarce. Also, in about 85 days, they're going to have the first halving as well, and that should give it a little bit of uplift there. So that's where it is at the moment. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'll probably leave my I've got quite a few comments I could make. I'm going to leave it there, though. I think and that is pretty much there on the Pulse Bitcoin. Now, Wolverine, one of the evangelists in the Pulse Bitcoin there, large whale, has made a couple comments here. 9.4% of the circulating supply of Pulse Bitcoin has been locked via Pulse Bitcoin Lock.app, so that's kind of cool. 9.4%, so it has taken some of that lock up there for the Pulse Bitcoin. What else we got here? Got that there, that's the lockup there. The top 10 wallets control 1/3 of the supply of Pulse Bitcoin, so it's very heavily whale dominated here, and 2 are liquidity pools. So that's top 10, so top 8 seem to be some large whales. That could be seen as I see it's a pro or a con depending on how you look at what their behavior is. If you want a good entry point for ASICs, then you should buy out these 3 liquidity pools, take the tokens from them, and start mining. You can set buy walls and market buy in smaller batches to avoid slippage, first come, first served. So a bit of encouragement there. And the ASIC market is giving you a fantastic opportunity. Will you seize the moment or listen to the FUD, your choice? So bit of fight back there from old Wolverine there. Smart money buys the dips, no comment. So that is from Wolverine. So there's a few comments there. I think that's all I was going to talk about from Wolverine. It's got lots of posts in there. We'll jump away from that. That is pretty much Pulse Bitcoin. We'll see. Hey, eventually, if you do get the bottom on these, and it does bottom out rather than cascade failure, then you can pick up some nice value potentially. We'll see how that goes. Speculative at this stage. All right, so cool. Let's a quick look at Zen. We're going to briefly look at Zen. Before we do that, let's get into the chat and make sure I'm not too far ahead here. Was it? Christian says, "Wow, dropping like it's hot." Indeed, it is. Indeed, it is. Ted Nelson in the house there, coming in late. Hey, everybody. Hey, Ted, always a pleasure. Great to see you in the chat there. Christian says, Hex community is large. I see PLS and PLSX making serious cash. Yeah, indeed. I think so too. You know what I mean from my life is awesome. Bing, boom, says Brandon. Any ocean sounds? I don't know about ocean sounds. No, I've only got 6 sounds at the moment. So, but I haven't played this one. I'll play this one. All right. Enough. That was a sad trumpet. It's called sad trumpet. It's I guess when something's really sad there, or maybe something fails. I fail. What else there? Dan Dog's in house. Relax. If this is your first bear market, Hex will be fine and Pulsechain will launch. I like that. Mint Zen says Zen. Yep, we're going to talk about Zen right now. So let's do it. What we got? Danu in house. Hey Danu. Just arrived. Hello Superman and all Mexicans, and now smash this like button here. As I said, now you definitely smashed it out, folks. That'd be cool. Very cool indeed. All right. I think if I got through all those comments, just make sure I'm not too far here. Yeah, I got through all those. So that's nice. A big welcome to everybody. All right. Let us get into it. So this is from Jack Levin, the founder of Zen. Now, so what they're doing is they're doing this sort of basic side fork of Polygon. One of Polygon's products, you can do that, set up sort of a side testnet. But Jack's doing something a little different here. And so we're going to be looking at this briefly. X1 DevNet will be open. So there's a DevNet here open for testing starting the February the 1st. But he's not going to launch this main chain from the looks of it till later. Originally, he was indicating that so it might be sooner. But I feel that I thought the wise thing would be to do it later. Why do I say that? Because you want to build out the ecosystem a bit more and get those things up there as well, and then capture a lot of the inflation when it comes out too. So I think that's probably a smart play, so hopefully that's going to play out that way. Official X1 testnet will follow right after. And then, of course, the plan for DevNet is to test airdrop system for Zen NFT minters and allow community developers kick the tires of the blockchain. That's cool. So that's really good news. Now, the way he's structuring this is a little different from other ones, like from anything. I don't know for sure we've seen anything like this. So as he's setting up the chain, he's set up a way of reading all the other 10 chains that have got Zen on them, at least particularly Ethereum, and of course then being able to, if you do a burn on those chains of the Zen token, then you will get credited the X1 token on, first of all, on Ethereum. So you he's going to issue the token on Ethereum, and of course that will then be able to be claimed airdropped on the actual main chain when it launches on the X1 chain. So it's kind of a cool way of doing it. I like that. I think that's a smart way of doing it. Jack Levin says, if you minted a Zen NFT of any kind, you will get an airdrop up to your wallet account on our X1 testnet, 0 value. The goal is to let people test the blockchain and help us beat it up more. More details to follow. Note, there will be an Ethereum side contract issuing X1 tokens that will be converted to an X1 native currency on the blockchain when it goes live. I think this is the master play. This is a really good way of doing this. We were still working on tokenomics on how it will be done. Bear with us as we finalize the details. So basically, that is where they're heading there. So I thought that was kind of cool. On that one, we're gonna have a quick look through the Zen dashboard. And now, obviously, they've also on Friday they've got Zen NFTs staking. So Zen NFTs will be staking, and that's going to help with the supply sync. You know, guys, I always talk about that. So think of the first phase as inflation with the log2 function, and then of course you got all the supply sync. So you got burning mechanisms, staking mechanisms, and other mechanisms coming that are going to help with that. So we can actually see the minted Zens there, the minted NFTs are now 11,770. Now the one thing is that as inflation grows, some of that will flow into the NFTs that have not been minted, particularly the Apex. There's 10,000 Apexes. Currently, there's about 257 Apexes being minted, so relatively low. But the top one, the X Unicorn, is very high, and that's at 31 out of 100. So that's actually doing very well. And those are the ones likely to go first. Then we'll go into the next level with the 5 billion burns and so forth, and they'll still start filling up. Is my expectation there. So far, that's playing out. So we'll look forward to seeing that. But anyway, the rest of these mints are people that are minting rubies, ruby collectors, and Zenican, I think the Zenicans, which is the big batch minter. So the short term, low number of wallets and large amount of wallets, and they're making up a lot of these minted wallets here. I do have a website I could show that, but we won't go into that. So that is pretty much it. Now I just want to go to the mint monitor here and have a quick look at the additions here. So on Ethereum, so remember this is on 10 chains, but on Ethereum, we're sitting global rank sitting at 8,463,000. The max term is now up to 445 days, but get this. The EAA bonus, the early adoption bonus, is 1.6. So it is definitely just about gone. It started off at 10%, and it's going down, down, down. When the global rank reaches 10 million mints, will be 0. So just remember that. And the AMP is going down by 1 every single day. So that's impacting the yield as well. 111 days so far that Zen's been around. So it's not long, hasn't been around long. And of course, yesterday, the growth in the ranks, 40,000, not a lot. So that's a slowdown. Obviously, when the gas is high, the mints are typically lower, and that's pretty much the play out there. So pretty interesting. Let's jump over to the dashboard, have a quick look at the volume. Liquid supply has been increasing slower because of the days coming out and all the burns. I'm going to talk about that. So 5,149 billion is the liquid supply. A massive 438 billion is now staked. This has gone up dramatically. Let's check it out. Let's get the insights. Let's have a look and what's going on here. So let's go down to the bottom here, and we're going to check out. So you can see the change in Zen supply, circulating supply here. We had a big day the other day, 218 billion. Obviously, you don't want to see a lot of those days. That's just too much. But let's come down the last couple of days, down to about 50 million here. 50 billion, sorry, 50 billion in the last 4 days. Isn't that terrific? But look at today's results. Look at these results. So new supply, 72 billion got claimed. 16.8 billion got staked. This is amazing. And then 17.25 billion got burned. Amazing. So those are what you want to see happen there. That's very cool. The day before, 35.9 billion got staked. 15.7 billion got burned. This is really cool. That's the trend. That's what you want to see in the trend. So pretty interesting stuff there. Let's have a look at the numbers down here. It's crossed over. The burn has crossed over 9%. This is like the first time I've seen this. This is amazing. Really, really cool there. And the staking has gone up too. It's over 7%, 7.14% there on the staking. So very, very cool to see. Now, if we get the liquid amount has gone down at 83.81%. So what do we make out of this? So we've gone now 16.2% is now a sunk. So sunk there. And that doesn't include the penalties. The penalties have been rising as well. People are forgetting to claim their mints. They're forgetting, and the burn has climbed up dramatically. It's up at 2.2. So these never even get minted. They never even come to supply. So people are minting and then forgetting about it, and it's up to 2.2, which is crazy. It was about 1.5%. It's now 2.2. So some very interesting things happening lately with this so far. And we can see these trends in this chart here of all the supply sinks, right? So all the supply sinks are here. We can see the trends of staking, penalties, and burns. The trend is your friend there. Pretty interesting. Now on the future supply, obviously there's tons of Zen to be minted, and therefore the ecosystem has to build out and the main chain has to build out. So those things will eat up this over time. We got 58.5 trillion Zen to be mined in the future, and that's 10.72% of what may be expected. And of course that is 545 trillion if it does get to that amount. Obviously depends on lots of factors there. And you can see that summarized in the chart here and here. So that's kind of cool. Now, what's going to say is that the supply is dropping off between early March and September, barring a couple of different, a couple of skyscrapers in the middle there. But generally, that is relatively low. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Zen price performs during that time. That is pretty much that on that one. Now, on top of this with the staking is that the Zen NFTs will be stakeable tomorrow. So all the new Zen NFTs that we've seen will increase the stake amount. That's another supply sink. So we'll see how that goes. It's going to be pretty fun to see that. And of course, with the gas prices being relatively higher, people having to mint out further. So some interesting stuff happening here. It's NFT staking, and then we've got the reflection token, competitive burning, the Phoenix staking project as well, and many more. So it's going to be fun to see this play out. It's going to be interesting to watch it for sure. So that is pretty much a summary there of Jack Levin's project there. Let's jump over to the Hex Daily Stats. We'll get into this. What day are we on? Day 1151. And we're going to talk about that. So it's cool. Yeah, day 1151. We're going to get into Hex Daily Stats. And once again, if you haven't checked out hex.com, find it out in the look in the video description there, because you'll be able to find that. If you have any more questions, get into our Discord. It's pretty much going to be awesome. The best DeFi savings product in crypto. So check it out. Who else is in here? Let's see who's jumped in the chat here. Let's go into here. Dan Dog says Jack of Zen is a believer of centralization. Hex true DeFi. You're talking about the venture capitalist, I think, aspect of it. I think you might be talking about that. Jack is moving fast as Christian. Yeah, super fast innovator. Definitely something to watch there. It's going to be interesting to see it play out. Dan Dog, we don't do the drama side on this channel. Sorry, Dan Dog. we don't do the drama side on this channel. So that's the one thing we don't do. There's plenty of other channels that do the drama side. Just remember that we're a no drama channel. We try to keep out of that stuff. Mint Zen says, wow, 9% Zen burned, soon 10%. I know, it's pretty impressive. The Zen NFTs start tomorrow, the staking, and there could be a massive burning there, so it's going to be interesting to see that. Astro says, we let the grass grow too high during the bear. Grass too. Sometimes that happens. All right, let's get into it. We've got the Hex Daily Stats, 1,151 days that Hex has been around. Isn't it crazy? 26th of January 2023. We got the price is stable, pretty much the same as yesterday, 2.6 cents there. Nice. We got the payout per T-share is 6.3 Hex per T-share. So that's pretty awesome. So we've got a bit of penalties in there. The T-share rate, T-share price, I should say, is $677. The T-share rate is 25,627, and of course that's up by 4.6. Now, one of the cool things about the Hex is that in Hex you get two effective bonuses. You get bigger pays better bonus, and you get a longer pays better bonus. That goes into your effective Hex. So imagine you take your Hex. Let's say you add 10,000 Hex, and then you get a bigger pays better bonus. Let's say that's 5,000 Hex, and then you get a longer pays better bonus. Let's say that's 5,000 Hex. So you add 10,000 plus 5,000 plus 5,000, that's 20,000 Hex. And that 20,000 Hex is then divided by the share rate, and you can see the share rate here, and that gives you the amount of T shares you have. The amount of T shares you have or trillions of shares is what is in the ownership pool, and then that determines what you get out of the reward pool. So it's a bit like that. It's pretty easy there. So increase in T shares, 4.6. So that is the increase in share rate. Remember, on the 16th of February, we're expecting 600 increase, 600 Hex per T share increase. So earlier pays better, right? Because if you're dividing your effective Hex by the share rate, and if share rate goes up, then you get less T shares. So remember that. Average state length 6.51 years. The APY rate there is 36.41% for Hex. Pretty cool. That includes your inflation yield and the emergency in-stake penalties. Obviously, that is the truth engine, right? People early in-stake their commitments in terms of staking. They get penalized for that, and 50% of those penalties goes back to stakers. So it's kind of cool. Liquidity in the pool, 216 million Hex in the pool, 2.7 million US dollars in liquidity, and 1,047 ETH in the pool at the moment. And let's jump over to the T-share pool here for Hex. 1,078 T-shares were taken up, so people staking yesterday, and we're at 10.3 million T-shares there. Going to be interesting in February when Hex Gold Bar comes out, how much this changes. It's going to be fun to see that, of course. And we get closer to 10 million, maybe, unless it restakes or something. We'll see. The change in, what am I going here? We're going staked coins here, so 10.09% of Hex is staked at the moment. And we've got the penalties at 1.3 million Hex in penalties. So good day in the office for us Hex stakers. And let's have a look at the growth in the Hex ecosystem. So current holders on Etherscan is up 56 to 317,205. And of course the staker number, this is our headline number. Hex is really about staking, generally speaking. Obviously people can hold liquid Hex, but it's really designed for stakers. And of course you stake your Hex. Your Hex gets burned and you get T shares or B shares depending on how much you're staking. And of course there you get the reward Hex per T share per day. So it's kind of neat. Now we've got an increase in stakers of 11 yesterday, 10 today. So we do need to do a lot more work than that. We need to get those numbers up. So Rich always talks about direct promotions, getting out there, spreading the word, doing what you can. So definitely get out there and spread the word, folks. Current stakers 117,934. And of course the total holders up 159 to 525,207. 207 them. So that is pretty much the play. Now obviously getting into Hex at the moment. Hex is currently at 2.63 cents, so it's a really nice price entry for people to get into after 95 to 97% pullback. It's pretty cool. It is about 95% at the moment, so it's pretty good to get in and get that advantage. So spread the word, as we say. Bring on the people for the next run. Now it's going to be fun. Now we're currently on day 1,152, the second month of the fourth year of Hex, and onwards and upwards. That's going to be pretty crazy here as well. So that is the Hex daily stats. Let's see how we're getting on here in the chat. We're going to jump over to the Hex chart here. I'm going to close out a few of these sites. So definitely check out hex.com in the video description. Let's jump over the Hex chart there. I'm going to get rid of that and that and that. Let us go into, that is the Hex chart there. Let's get into the 15 minutes as well. Let's just do it. Let's zoom out here and have a look at the whole ecosystem here at the moment. So let's have a pull in of this. That is about right. So let's pull that down. That is pretty much the Hex chart there. Before we get into that though, let's say hello to any other comments in the chat there. What's that? All bags matter, says Astro. Is Astro there? At the beginning, Jack Levin mentioned that Zen is moving about nearly 6 times faster than he has mentioned it would do. That's true. 6 times faster than a direction would be nice. And the other direction would be nice, says Astro. That's funny. All right, so cool. Let's get into it. So we've got Hex here. How are we doing for time? I'm just not even sure what the time frame on here. They don't have the time. Oh, it does have the broadcast time. 1 hour and 3 minutes. How about that? That's pretty cool. I'm not sure what this button does. If I click this button, what's it going to do? I haven't played around with the studio. I'm a bit scared to click the button. I don't want to click the button. It might wreck the live stream. Well, that's Astro says, take care from family. Enjoy the pumps. DCA is king. Hex is king. That's true. Mint-Zen. Yeah, well, we kind of moved on from Zen, but Zen penalties can easily go up 5% in the near future. Too bullish, burning, staking penalties up. My favorite chart says Zen. All right, cool. Dan Dog says Hex true DeFi. The importance of the t-shirt. That is true. Getting a t-shirt is very important there. Now remember, from my point of view, Zen is a speculative play, but a high quality one. But maybe in a few months' time, it could definitely move into that strong probability category that I always talk about. So just remember that is speculative and so on. So cool. Let's get into it. It's 2.63 cents there is the current price of Hex. Now, obviously, we've got the Hex Gold Bar coming out here on the 14th. And then we've got that increase in the share rate there on the 16th. So let's actually pull up Hexify. Let's pull that up. And you can see the share rate jumping on the 16th. So if you are looking to restake, I definitely do it before then, because you can see here the share rate's going to jump pretty big. And in any case, there are a couple other periods as well later in the year. There's a couple other periods here in the year as well, into April, March here, April to May with share rates jumping. But look at the jump at the end of the year, folks. The 21st of November towards the end of the year. Look at this jump. It's going to be massive, a massive jump. And we're not kidding here. We're sitting around about 25,600 at the moment. But by the end of the year, we're going to be over 32,000 on the share rate. Remember that you take your effective Hex, and when you stake, and you divide it by the share rate. So that's a major increase, folks, in terms of T-shares. Earlier pays better, longer pays better, and bigger pays better in Hex. Remember that. So a lot of people forget the earlier pays better part, but the share rate is part of the function, part of the calculation. So remember, earlier pays better. All right, that is cool. And then, so yeah, we've got this action happening. Now, Pulsechain testnet V3. It's getting even more promising that February's looking pretty good. Like I say, we've got the two execution clients, Geth and Aragon. We've got the two consensus clients, Lighthouse and Prism. It seems to be working on there. And of course, are they going to do others? For diversity, we'll see. But those four are the ones they've talked about. And I guess at least two is enough. Yeah, that's looking good. Now, obviously, if everything goes well, they set up the nodes, they get the system state block, and they queue them all up. We may be in luck for February, looking very good for February. We did see from the dev that dev pre-tip that very soon is definitely on the books. So we can be reasonably optimistic now, and we've seen screenshots of the validators, the block explorer, and the Aragon syncing. That things are definitely coming along. Very cool, and we're getting a lot more disclosure as well, which is pretty exciting. So still got the potential V3 testnet in here. That's pretty cool. We've got optionality around Shanghai, the ETH withdrawals. Obviously, we'll need Pulse withdrawals. I guess they can just add that up later. And of course, the V3 license as well. It looks like we're going with V2, Uniswap version 2. Richard did give us a hint about that, the fact that he likes the V2 equal liquidity pairs, given the fact that one of those tokens may be very, very in demand. And of course, he wants as many incentives to be played out in PulseX as he can. And of course, you can always add in V3 later on. So it's going to be interesting to see that. It's going to also be interesting to see whether they pull in other dexes, obviously Uniswap and SushiSwap, but things like Bancor and others. So it's going to be interesting to see how many dexes they're going to actually harvest at the end of the day. That'll be pretty interesting too. So a bit of a question mark over that. And then of course Pulsechain liquidity there. Pulsechain launch still looking fairly good for me for April of May if those two optionalities. So that appears to be the case, and we may very well time the market at the top of the terminal rate there too, with the February and the March rate hike, especially if they're for 25 basis points each, and then we pivot into the second phase, which is holding up the interest rates for a long period of time, and then finally having our final pivot at expansionary policy there, QE as it were, later over in September, October possibly. I'm a bit earlier than most, of course. We'll see, because so far financials has certainly been pulling back, so it's kind of cool there for that. So we'll hopefully get to more dovish position, and of course then get the bull run, the full-on bull run running into 24 there. Now some people think that we might be going into the end of the super cycle, and I myself think that we've got one more bull run before the super cycle. The super cycle is going to come. It's going to have a day of reckoning eventually. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the fact that there's been so much money printing and the debt situation's out of control. Eventually, under the wrong administration, they're going to come to fruition. So I do expect that to happen at some stage. But when that will be is anyone's guess. I know people have been calling that for like 15 years, but it's going to happen at some stage, especially the last couple of years where since the the lockdown periods, the money printing went pretty insane. And what they spend their money on is pretty bad. So we'll see how that day of reckoning occurs at some stage. Now, I do think there's a bullish scenario in 2024, depending on if we get a good administration. We may avert that for a longer period of time. So let's fingers crossed on that one. Well, that is pretty much it. How are we up to an hour and 10 minutes with the new format? Let me know in the chat what you think of the new format. Obviously, it's a little, I've got to get used to it myself. There's probably a few little features in here that I haven't used, but looking good there. On that one. All right, let's get in here. We've got a couple of comments. We've got let's see. My guess my guess the Hex Godwell is going to stake for 45 days again. I know, wouldn't that be interesting? That would be so cool. That would, the short-term whales. These we say that they're eating up probably about 25% of all the new stakers, and of course the way to deal with that is obviously it affects everybody, but is short staking by the Hex Godwell. That would increase the share rate a lot faster, even as much as it is in the chart we just showed. It's already pretty aggressive, but imagine the Hex Godwell doing this all the time. That could be pretty interesting. So yeah, we'll be watching out for that one there. When the T-shares jump at the beginning of February, does this have any consequences on the what's the ICES yield? And then starting second bunch of HXI auctions. T-share jump. Yeah, it would do because it's tied into the share rate, so it's going to affect that affect ICOSA Hedron for sure. Can devs get their hands on V3 code prior to license expiry? We'll have to wait till the date get it. I would say they have to wait until the license is open. They must have a lock on that or non-disclosure on that. I haven't checked that aspect, but I'd imagine that's the case. Super Cycle says Danu. Yeah. Super Cycle means that we've got these bull runs and then bear markets, bull runs and bear markets, and eventually expecting some major correction. I'm not sure if we'll just the way they've been, the debt and the printing and everything else, whether we get a recession, a depression, a true depression like 929, whether we get that. That's kind of what I'm talking about. That's sort of there's got to be a day of reckoning at some stage, but hey, look, it could be a long way off. When you say super cycle, you mean extended bull run. So yes, I mean multiple bull runs, multiple bear runs, and of course the last ones got particularly driven by a QE, a massive QE money printing. So it was massive. It was like 20, I can't remember the exact number, but 20% or so. It was massive into last year, the year before, into 2021. Now at 22 they pulled that back, so they pulled all that back. So it was I think it was almost deflating the first 9 months by about 1.5% or something, deflating the money supply. Remember, banks are the ones that make the money supply, so they're the ones that leverage that. All great work there, says Living on Crypto. Hey, you're welcome, man. We've got 47 people watching in the house. Hey, big welcome. Hope you like the new format. Let me know in the chat, man. No one's written in the chat. You like the new format? Let me know. I think it's way better, and I've just got to get used to a few other things, but we're going to have fun with it. All right, I've got the red button. I got a red button. It says end broadcast. End broadcast there. All right, let us jump over to this. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself today and love the new format. If you're after the live show, leave a comment in there about it, because it's going to be cool. All feedback is welcome. Constructive feedback, I should say. All constructive feedback is welcome. Not all feedback. We know you DGens out there. All right. Okay, so yeah, live on and live a vida, as we say. All right, so I'm gonna be obviously after using this, I'm gonna expand on it and get a few new things in it. So look forward to that. Great show, says Mincent. Hey, you're welcome. Tim Top knows about the red button, says Brian. Does he? Thanks, McMahon, for the new soundboard and format. Hey, you're welcome, man. You're welcome. And what does the crowd say? Was it Eat your heart out there, Trayvon. Eat your heart out, because he's the one that normally has these sound effects. So eat your heart out, Trayvon there. And what does Trayvon say? Yeah. All right. Well, I like it. All right. So thanks, everybody. I do appreciate it. And let's play out some funky music. We've got some music here, too. We've got heaps of music. We can play heaps of music. But anyway, we're going to finish up. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, all that good stuff. And don't forget to, I'll jump back to the Hex chart here, and we might move to the 15-minute for a few minutes. Let's see, not a few minutes because we're going to wrap up, but that is the Hex chart there. Just pulling down slightly there at a 2.63. Let's see where this thing goes. It's going to be fun to see. All right, what am I doing? I don't know. He's coming out of the comments there. I've left some comment on the chat there. Sandy Beach is with the music. Yeah, we're going to play some music now. The loading is a little bit different for the studio, Sandy Beach. I tried to load Bubble Boy, but it didn't load. So I'm going to have to load it next time, I'm afraid. Thank you for the new formats. There's Daniel. Hey, you're welcome, man. I really like it. I hope you guys do too. Sci-fi music, nice, there's Brennan. Yeah. Actually, there's a bit of other music. Let's play a little bit more of that. We've got other stuff. We've got this background music. We got some cute commercial music. No, I can hardly hear that. Video game music. We got some soft hip hop. Can hardly hear that one. We've got background techno. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. We got the background techno loop. I can imagine Rags to Riches dance to this. And it's when he's by himself. When he's by himself. Everybody put it on. You know what? He goes to a lot of those food halls. Rags to Riches goes to those big food halls in America. Gets the big beef, barbecue steak or something. He probably puts this on his earphones and he's like, anyway, enough teasing Rags to Riches. I'll get rug pulled. All right, enjoy yourself, everybody. Hope you have a good day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now. Peace out.